Simplified Chaos, Episode 18.
Life is beautiful and full of chaos.
And it can get slightly out of hand if that shit's not tamed.
We're here to share how to simplify the little things to start leading a more purposeful life.
This is Simplified Chaos.
Hello, wonderful friends. Welcome back, or thanks for joining us if this is your first time. I am Jillian, and I'm with my co-host and husband, Nicholas.
What's going on, folks?
And we are pumped to be here, and I can't believe, I feel like I keep saying, like, I can't believe this is episode blank, but, I mean, time is flying by, just like Lucille is going to be 11 months old, and that's just crazy to me.
We've been at this for 4 months now, if you think about it.
I feel like I just gave birth to her like 2 days ago.
Touche.
Even though I feel recovered physically, but it's like, man, time just goes by so fast.
I hear you. So what are we jumping into today?
Today's episode is all about short getaways and why short getaways or vacations have brought us more joy and the specific benefits that we've had in our life from doing more frequent getaways than like just one big vacation, long vacation, I would say.
Right. It sounds like another fun topic.
Vacations are always fun.
Yeah, I like it. But before we dive into that, smelling gratitude. You smelling it? Feels fresh.
Smells fresh, yes.
Yes.
Who's going first today?
You are.
Yay. I am grateful for breakfast dates.
Ooh. Man, you may have just stole my thunder.
So usually
Maybe I should have gone first.
I kind of had a feeling that either one of us was going to say it, and I was like, oh, I'm going to do it
I got something different, though. Go ahead.
So today we were fortunate enough to have my mom come over and babysit, and we had a nice little breakfast date. Usually we do date nights, but we like to mix it up every once in a while and go out for breakfast instead.
Date brunch.
Date brunch. Number one, it's cheaper because we're not buying cocktails. We're just buying coffee.
Yeah.
And number two.
Not much cheaper, though.
Number two, it gives my mom an excuse to come over in the mornings to get some more Lucille time. Mm-hmm. And I know it kind of mixes up her schedule. Like usually she would babysit like on a Saturday night or a Friday night. So this kind of mixes up her schedule a little bit and gives her something to look forward to in the morning versus an evening where she falls asleep pretty soon after we leave.
Yeah, it sounded like she had a nice evening planned today. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So I was very grateful for our breakfast date today at Woodbury Kitchen.
Yeah.
Shout out to them in Baltimore. And
delicious.
So tasty. Worth every penny. Yep. Good food.
Check that spot out. So I am grateful for Sam.
Oh, Sam.
Sam is, I guess, my barber, haircut guy.
Haircut guy?
The guy who cuts my hair.
Your face just is like, I don't know what to call him.
I've been seeing Sam for probably 4 years now, maybe even 5. But it's always a treat going to the QG and getting my hair cut. I think I've talked about the experience in our self-care episode. So, just shout out to him. We have a great conversation. We're usually talking about the different bars or places to get cocktails in Baltimore. What's going on in Pigtown, because we both lived at he lives in Pigtown now, but I lived there at one point. So I'm very familiar with that neighborhood, and there's been a lot of changes since I moved out of there, and he kind of keeps me up to date on what's going on in Pigtown. So I'm very grateful that, he does a great job with my hair.
Your hair looks
and
pretty
that we have a good conversation every time that we're together.
I feel like to be a hair stylist or hairdresser, like you have to be very good at making conversation, because
there are some people who sit there in silence. Like they have these little iPads playing, and usually it's like a movie or a TV show. So if like somebody's not talking,
is this?
It's on their stand.
No way.
Yeah. All the stations have little iPads on them. There's guys who don't want to talk.
I've always had a really great relationships with anyone who has done my hair, because I feel like that's the option. It's like you either sit and stare in silence, which I can do, or some people are like, it's awkward, so I'm going to make conversation, and you learn a lot about their social life and personal life, and it's kind of cool how you're forced to like have a really good bond with your hairdresser.
Oh, we have a common bond too. We were both in the same fraternity. Different schools, but the same fraternity. So we have that that in common. But no,
Nice.
Sam's a good dude. I really enjoy getting my hair cut there, and yeah, I'm just grateful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. So let's shift gears and
You
talk a
ready?
little bit about some getaways.
So if you are somebody who thinks maybe that, or maybe someone who's like, I feel like I used to be in a family that we only planned one big trip during the summer and that was it.
Right.
And
Which we do have a big trip coming up this
we
summer.
do, but it's not,
But we didn't have a big trip last summer
we did not.
because of somebody
The baby.
that was added to our family that prevented us. No, I'm just kidding.
She caused quite a commotion.
Yes.
But no, I was definitely in a family that we never did a lot of short getaways. We were always that family that was very busy with sports,
Yes.
school, piano lessons, like
Same.
do all the time. I said do.
You said multiple doo-doos.
I do. Ugh. Anyway, so it's cool to kind of start our own traditions with just doing shorter getaways, and we do it pretty frequently. And
Well, I mean, I think our relationship kicked off on just a short getaway. If you really think about it, like
That's
we had
true.
that date, but then like when we, I guess, quote unquote, became official, our first date was to one of our favorite towns now.
where we got married.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of
So,
memories.
yeah.
But I just wanted to talk about, like, I'm going to bring up some points so you can like chime in at any time, but
I
how
will.
traveling frequently has helped us, and I'm just going to say what it's helped our relationship or our life with, some specific things.
Let's do it.
So short getaways have helped we have less stress with short getaways because we don't have to plan as much.
No.
We don't have to pack as much. And if you think about it, when you go on vacation, especially long vacations, the most stress that I encounter is the planning of it and the packing of it.
Right.
That's what really like bogs me down.
Yeah.
And when you have shorter getaways, it's so much like less on your mind. It's so freeing.
I mean, I basically, when we go on our short getaways, I either, if it's a Friday, I get home from work, I throw something in a bag for a night or two, and then we're off. Like it's really, you don't even think about it. You know that you need underwear, socks, clothes if you're going out. If we're hiking, clothes for that, and then that's it. Like I'll wear the same clothes a couple times. You know, it's really a no-brainer. I throw my things together, and then we're off. We're off to our adventure.
And also because we have simplified our wardrobe, which we talk about in one of our previous episodes, it helps make packing so much easier because I have less to choose from. And I do have a blog post that it's called Simplified Travel Packing, which has helped me make packing so much less stressful. I have so much more sanity, and I kind of found some rules and tricks and tips to help anyone else who's interested. So we can put that in the show notes. But yeah, having less to think about to pack and less to choose from makes it easier for a short adventures.
Well, to piggyback on that too, the last time that you and I took a trip together, we were able to pack into one suitcase together.
I wouldn't
and it
even
was a
consider
very
that.
tiny, it wasn't even a suitcase. It was
It
like
was a cosmetic bag
It was a
for a
cosmetic bag, and we were
suitcase.
able to fit our clothes in that.
And that
was
would have never
easy.
happened like 3 years ago. So I feel like we've made tremendous gains.
Oh, we definitely have. And that's all thanks to the decluttering and simplifying our wardrobe, which we've got an episode on each one of those.
For sure.
If you folks care to check those out.
Another benefit of shorter getaways is that, I don't know about you, but I appreciate my home so much more. I feel like it's one of those things where you don't realize what you have until it's quote unquote gone. And when you are away, there are things that may be different or uncomfortable, and it makes you just appreciate where your home is that much more. Even, and you know how sometimes we're getting that in that I don't know what you call it, but social media haze that, you know, oh, my home isn't that nice. Look at their home. I need to compare it. I need to do this. But when you go away more frequent, it makes you appreciate your home that much more. Like you get excited about coming back to it. And I just find that I have more gratitude about where we live when we go away more often.
Right. And I'm going to do something a little bit different and shift gears here, because I also like that when we do our usually one or a maximum 2-night getaways, we usually are doing an Airbnb, and we have met some great people and have been guests in some really nice homes in nice towns as well. And so I would say that's another benefit, is just the social aspect of it, particularly
Absolutely.
because of how we travel and where we stay in particular.
I had that on there, meeting new people, and I find that I'm very introverted, whereas like I need to be alone to like fill my cup up. But I'm finding that I'm getting more uncomfortable because which is a good thing. Getting uncomfortable means that I'm growing and I'm learning,
Yeah.
and meeting new people is very uncomfortable sometimes for me, and it's scary, but it's when we do stay at Airbnbs, it's opening me up more to make conversation and to learn more about their perspective. And
Hmm.
we may not have the same opinions with some of these people, but it could be about anything. But I find that, it's just nice just communicating and connecting with people that are from a different area, like hearing their point of views. And I feel like it's making us well rounded and more open minded.
And it's almost like we have our own personal concierge when we have that as well, because
True.
oftentimes these people have lived in these towns for a long time. It can provide you better information than a hotel concierge
And they're
might be
so
able to
like
do.
genuinely authentic. Like they really do I mean, they might do Airbnb to make money, but a lot of them really enjoy it. They like being a
Hmm.
host and they like interacting with the guests and helping them find, whatever they're looking for. But I absolutely agree. Like socially, we've met a lot of awesome people and connected, and all that fun stuff adds to your happiness, connection, communicating with new people. Like I
Right.
feel like we're growing, we're learning. There's like a lot of great benefits in that.
So one of the common themes, and I'm kind of taking over here a
Please.
little bit. One of the common themes I think that we have, especially when we travel anywhere, but even when we do these short vacations, is finding great places to eat and finding new restaurants or foods that have, interesting cocktails or even craft beers or something like that. But, we do our research when it comes to, like, that's the first thing we look at after we know where we're going, is
I'm
like,
sure we're not the only
okay,
ones. We look at
what's the
food
food
before.
situation look like here?
We look at food and nature and we're like, bam, they have plenty of places to see, hiking, mountains, and they also have great food. So it's like, bam, perfect spot for us.
Yes. And it kind of ties into an upcoming episode, is date nights, is that, the vacation turns into, we have a date night, and then we do whatever at that point.
And I think,
We might find another bar to go in and have you know, what is that? A nightcap, your dad calls it, a little
yes,
nightcap
yes.
action. Maybe try to find a live band or something like that. So, I mean, we really, you suck all the juice out, out of a vacation, even if it's just a mini vacation. We try to do as much as possible to maximize our time
But still relax
together.
at the same time.
Exactly. But I mean, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
throwing back a nightcap is pretty relaxing.
But I know this ties into that. I said one of the benefits is that we kind of let go of control a little bit, especially for my personality. I'm much a planner. And I think we can get caught up in our routines, our weekly routines where, we work 9 to 5, we have dinner, we have date nights on Friday nights, and we usually go to the same 5 places. We mix and match it or however we're feeling. And going away more frequently kind of like throws in some spontaneity in our
Hmm.
lives. And I think you're much of a planner too, and you're very organized,
When it
maybe.
comes to vacations, yes, I feel like I am very scheduled. However,
Yes.
I
I
will
think,
say
yeah.
that, and this is a longer vacation, but when we did Hawaii for our honeymoon, like we booked the trip and then maybe booked one or two events. We were there for 10 days, but we had like two things that we booked in advance, and then everything was like, we'll figure it out when we get there. And I actually really like that. Like that
Yeah.
made it fun, exciting, not really knowing until the day before what we were doing the next day. So it kept it fresh.
And I find that when we do shorter getaways, I don't do as much planning. All I may
No.
look for is like one restaurant and that's it.
Hmm.
And I like that going away more frequently and shorter is it helps bring more spontaneity in our lives, which brings excitement and new things. And it's not so planned and meticulous and monotonous. Not saying that our life is boring by any means, but sometimes it can just, it's be the same thing week in and week in and week out. And having more frequent, shorter trips kind of like spices it up a bit and like
Definitely.
adds some different rhythms to your life. And I think that's much needed.
Absolutely.
So I had another thing is that it helps us establish new traditions.
Yes. We have quite a few traditions when it comes to these short getaways.
And I don't know if you're thinking of the same ones that I am,
Oh,
but
probably.
when it comes to, I know when we were dating, it was a tradition to go to Jim Thorpe after Thanksgiving for
AKA Mock Chunk.
in Pennsylvania. And it's a really cool town in the mountains.
Yeah.
And I think we would make that little, it was like a two-night getaway.
Yeah.
We would make that a tradition
We would
every
go
time after Thanksgiving. But now
Black Friday, we
yes.
would head up there, and then we would, drive up Black Friday morning, settle in, walk around the town. There's a bike trail, and some of the Black Fridays we went, we were there. It was like in the 50s, and so we would bike along the Yakagani River, something like that.
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I think that's what it is. So we found a lot of things to do in that town, and we've gone to that town, I think, at least 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, and I like that we're flexible. So, we change up our traditions if we think that it's not going to work for us for this season of life. And having Lucille, it's like, it really wasn't going to work out for us. So we actually completely changed that tradition, and we went to Savannah, Georgia.
Last year was cool.
Actually, before Lucille. So,
Yeah.
But we did mix it up before Lucille, and going away for Thanksgiving, I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it because I'm really a food person and I love homemade cooking, especially my mom's. But going away for Thanksgiving to Savannah, Georgia was so much fun.
It was awesome. And that was a short getaway. I mean, we left basically the day before Thanksgiving. No, we left Thanksgiving Day, didn't we? I think we got into town and then we went to Thanksgiving dinner, spent a couple of days, and then came back on Sunday. So I would consider that a short getaway. But we maximized our time down there. We did was it a food crawl where we went to different bars or different restaurants and tried the food around the town. It was just a great vacation. And of course, we did a ghost tour. If you're in Savannah, Georgia, you have to do a ghost tour.
There they have the best ghost tours.
It's just amazing. It's fun.
But we also started a new tradition where on Labor Day, we always see our friends in North Carolina and Raleigh, and we make sure that we hit Asheville.
Yes.
Before we go to Raleigh because we love Asheville.
Asheville, North Carolina is the shit.
Hiking is just beautiful. The restaurants are amazing. Such a cute town. Lots to see.
If you like beer, you have to go to Asheville.
Yeah,
they have more breweries in just that town than most states have, and it's just amazing. If you like sours, sour beers are where it's at. There's a really great sour place down there.
But yeah, I find that having short trips have led us to new traditions, and I love that because we also have new traditions with gifts for our birthdays and Christmas where we don't give gifts or Christmas gifts. Or did I say the same thing twice? Birthday gifts or Christmas gifts. I'm sorry.
It's the bee's knees.
This bee's knees cocktail is feeling good. Anyway, our new tradition is at least for my mom gifts us short getaways, like one night getaways are her gift to us. And it's so much better than a physical material gift. And my mom even loves them too.
Because we give your mom and her sister gifts to go away. They were just in Havre de Grace for 2 days. But yeah, I mean, that is the greatest gift. Is I love experiences. It's nothing that we're bringing home that's gonna be put away, put to the side after a couple of uses. We have an experience together, and we will always have those memories.
Absolutely. So yeah, I think building new traditions is like super important for us and new experiences. So we're going to keep that going for as long as we can.
Definitely will.
So another benefit I have is vacation sex.
I was going to go there eventually.
Oh, were you going to go there?
Yeah.
Downtown?
I was hoping to go there after this podcast. But yeah, vacation sex is awesome.
Maybe we're too open on here, but that's okay.
You guys do that. Come on.
We had a hardcore 10-second makeout session.
Man, she's got sex on the mind right now.
I do. Session before our podcast
lucky
episode. I almost took for granted what makeout sessions do. I'm not going to lie. If you haven't had a makeout session with your partner, make sure you guys do that. Anyway, so
put it on the books.
Vacation sex. I find that when you have sex when you're outside of your normal environment, it spices up things, man.
Sure.
Right?
Definitely.
Now, we haven't had vacation sex when Lucille has been with us because, right,
No,
when we go away by
that'd be weird.
ourselves, it wouldn't, if she was asleep, it would be fine. I mean, we've had sex with sleeping dogs on our bed. Is that
Well, yeah,
TMI? But
no,
it's,
no.
I'm sure there's other people who've had
It,
sex
you
with
know what?
dogs in the room.
It happens.
But anyway, so I find that it spices up your sex life. When you go away more frequently, you can,
Oh yeah.
try new positions. It's a new bed. It could be, now some of the bread, cheese and rice, the bed
Bed
and
and breakfast.
the bed and breakfast we've stayed at were like really old. So some of the rooms were like super creaky and
Oh, yeah.
noisy. And you know what? We were like,
But you could just say you were walking around.
we were jogging in
Yeah.
place, but we were just like, fuck it, we're
Doing
not gonna come.
burpees
It's not like
upstairs.
we're gonna come back here anytime
Yeah.
soon. It's like
I don't
everyone
give a
has sex,
shit. Yeah.
But so vacation
They're
sex
doing
is
it too.
definitely on there.
Hopefully. Yeah, no.
And I had another one on here that just said like we're just able to let loose and just let go of some of those like responsibilities. I find when you're home, you're constantly are thinking about what do I need to do around the house.
You have your weekend chores, you know?
Yes, maintaining. So I find that when you go away more frequently, it helps you just forget about it for a little bit and just enjoy where you are and kind of be a kid. Like
Right.
I know in our last getaway by ourselves, we found a park and we started swinging.
Yeah.
It's like you're able just to let go and do silly
You
stuff.
can
And
be a kid again sometimes. You can do whatever.
and being a kid was so much fun. Like why don't we do that more often?
Right.
So I think that like letting go of those responsibilities of adult life and just being a kid again just is it's really it's needed in a life when
Exactly.
you work Monday through Friday and like you forget what it's like to be that perspective, and it kind of helps you if you have kids to kind of relate to what they're going through and how freaking fun it was. And I find that we should do it more often. Like why shouldn't adulthood be just as fun as being a kid?
I agree.
My goal is to like make it equally as fun somehow. I'm working on it.
And the other thing is, oftentimes when we do our short getaways, like I think you had mentioned it earlier, we do try to find places where there is hiking, and so it gives us an opportunity to reconnect with nature and like be out in the middle of nowhere in the trail. Talk about things that we might not normally talk about. Like that's a lot of things. Another thing too is like you have the drive, and usually if we're going somewhere, it may be an hour away. I mean, sometimes it's 6 hours away, if we're going down to North Carolina, but it gives us an opportunity to talk and maybe talk about things that we
Reconnect.
otherwise wouldn't talk about.
True.
And we get a chance to reconnect, like I said, with
I didn't think
nature.
about that. That's a
Yeah, I
good
mean,
point, babe.
you're stuck in a car sometimes with that person.
God, you're the worst to get stuck in the car
I'm
with.
horrible. Hey, if you just rub my neck and I'm good. That's all I need.
All it takes is a neck rub,
Yeah.
and I'll just let you drive.
Although then I just I might pass out behind the wheel because I'm just like, I'm kidding. But yeah, no, I think that's another advantage, is just an opportunity to have those conversations with your partner and that you might otherwise not have.
And probably, I know Lucille can't communicate like to the
She's
point
trying.
where yeah, she's
trying.
trying. But I think that short getaways is an opportunity for you just like to reconnect on a really relaxed level with your family.
Mhm.
I find that when you're in the daily grind of things, sometimes you might forget to talk about like what's going on about their day and how they're feeling, and just to kind of like, shoot the shit, so to speak. But
Right.
so I'm excited like to involve Lucille in our drives and just our conversations when she can communicate to the point where we can understand what she's saying.
So much for getaway sex.
Yeah. Earmuffs, Lucille. Earmuffs. We'll think of something.
It
But-
was funny. We were just, and I'll say this really quickly. We were talking a little bit about the podcast before we jumped on here, and one of the things that I said that I think is really cool is that this is some kind of an audio diary for Lucille that she can, ingest at some point in her life when she's of age to understand what it is we're talking about here. But I think it's really cool.
It is pretty rad. I never thought of a podcast being like a diary for our future kids or kid. We don't know if we're having another one, but I think it almost makes me
no announcement yet.
no. It almost makes me want to tear up thinking about like if we pass, whenever our time is up, that Lucille will still be able to hear us. And
Well, and I think it's cool too. Like, I mean, you even think about it, then maybe her kids get to hear, their
It's so
grandparents, and
crazy to
that.
think
So I
of.
mean, it's just crazy.
We will live
We're going down
forever.
the rabbit hole here.
All right. Oh, so the last benefit I had was that we are able to help others because if we find joy in new places, we can recommend it to our friends.
Hmm.
And some of our friends have already found joy in some of the
Yeah,
places that we've been, and they're having some great experiences and getaways too. So I find that if we have more traveling experiences that we're able to share it with others and they can kind of do the same thing. It's like a domino
we're
effect.
always looking for suggestions. Like if there's a nice quaint town that has good food that is close to hiking,
Even just
let us
places to
know.
walk.
We want
Yeah,
to go. We want
absolutely.
to check that out. And like you alluded to, my brother and his wife go to the town that we got married in. We had some friends just go there as well, and you know
Bev and
texted us.
Kev.
Yeah, they're like, we had so much fun, and we told them where to go, and so it's nice to be able to give people those suggestions so that they have a good time and have a good memory of those towns. And we would hope that people would do the same for us, so that when we go there, we
Absolutely.
have a memorable experience.
For sure. All right. Well, that was all I had
Yeah.
on my laptop here.
So, do you have any resources that
I
you want to share with our folks here?
I do. I have one resource. It is a blog post titled Why a 3-Day Weekend May Be Better for Your Mental Health Than a Longer Vacation.
I like that.
And it's by Josephine Chu. And I'm going to be very brief. I'm not going to dive super deep, but some of the points that she brought up is number one, it's less stressful. We talked about that with the whole planning.
Yes.
Less planning, more spontaneity.
You just get up and go.
Number two, it's lower cost because most of the time your getaways are somewhere where you can drive. So it's not like you're buying a flight to
Right.
fly somewhere and you're not spending a week in a hotel. You can do one night or 2 nights at an
Not
Airbnb.
eating out
And
6 nights or
Mhm.
7 nights or whatever it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Number three, you're more likely to disconnect. When I say disconnect, I mean like you're more likely to have more frequent digital detoxes because when you're
Mm-hmm.
experiencing something new, you don't even want to look at your phone. You want to
No,
just explore and be present. And I find that we're less on our phones when we go away.
I agree. And I think when you're on those longer vacations, you might actually have those lulls where you're then going back to what you know, and that's your phone.
Absolutely. And the last one I had was that you'll have more to look forward to throughout the year. So for example,
Mm.
like if you're planning trips like every quarter or maybe
Once a month.
every once a month, then it's like you have so much more to look forward to throughout the year versus just one giant vacation just in the summertime. And research has even found that you get the biggest boost in happiness with vacation when it comes to just the anticipation of the trip.
Hell yeah.
Most of the joy you get is just the planning, not the planning, but just the thinking about going on a trip. So if you think about if you're going on more frequent trips throughout the year, you're experiencing more joy and more happiness, which is going to lead to you being happier at work, you being more productive at work, you being happier with your family. So I find that it's like a double whammy of goodness. Like, why shouldn't you have more frequent,
Right.
short trips?
We all need to get away and take a step out of life and really just try to enjoy the things that we have within an hour drive with us, in a 2 hour drive to us, to our, that we have access to. And I'm glad that we take advantage of that.
And I think even I was in this mindset that sometimes you have to go really far away to have a great vacation
Mm-mm.
and to make memories. But really, there is so much around you locally and maybe within a 2-hour drive
There's
for
a
you
lot of hidden
to
gems.
experience.
There's a lot of hidden gems. So go seek them out.
Yes,
Awesome.
Yeah.
We ready to get in that quote of the day?
we are.
Let's do it.
This is another anonymous quote.
Ooh,
Travel is the only thing you buy that makes you richer.
okay. I like it. I agree with that.
I think so.
I feel rich right now.
After all of our amazing getaways,
Yeah,
I feel
just recounting them and thinking about them, and we didn't even touch on all of them.
No.
There's just so many great little towns that we've gone to, and that's another thing. Like so many memories, just a lot of great memories.
and a lot of towns I didn't even know existed that were we just drove by and I had no idea they were there. And it's, so your take action, guys, is to really look around you at what's local within a 2-hour radius, really. I mean, even less if you really wanted to be, But there are so many towns and hidden gems out there for you to explore and have more happiness, plan more shorter getaways. I know longer trips are great too, but if you can make it happen, like, it's cheaper, it'll add more joy to your life. All of the benefits that we've talked about, I'm sure you will experience as well. So please plan and be intentional about making it almost a habit of having frequent getaways by yourself, with your partner, whoever. Because life's too short.
It is.
Live it up now.
Couldn't have said it better, Jilly.
Thanks.
That was awesome.
All right.
Well, folks, thanks again for listening. If you like this episode, please share it with people who you think might like it as well. Take a little snapshot of the episode and post it to Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter.
Especially if you want an excuse to travel more, just send it to your partner and be like, listen, these are all the reasons why we should probably go on vacations more. Just
and again,
saying.
Send us some suggestions on where we should go.
Please.
We would love to hear that.
Yes, that'd be great.
Your feedback is always welcome. But thanks again for listening, and we will talk to you folks next week.
See you later, guys.
We want to thank everybody for listening today. Please be sure to subscribe and sign up to receive notifications so you know when the next episode is live. If you like today's episode and know someone who could benefit from the topic we covered, please share it with them. And if you have any suggestions for us or want to chime in on today's topic, you can email us at simplifiedchaospodcast@gmail.com, and that's chaos with a K, or send us a comment on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Thanks again for listening, and we will see you next time.